While many of us look forward to this time of year, it can present a greater threat to domestic violence victims who may feel trapped and cut off from resources. Now, with the creation of a special prosecutor position in El Paso County, it's offering a glimmer of hope for victims who fear the ramifications of taking their intimate partner to court.
Well, really, it's just the first opportunity that we've had to go into a position like this to be more effective. Generally speaking, on domestic violence cases, this is across the nation, generally about a 30% success rate on domestic violence prosecutions. That's much too low in an area that's got a real big need.
District Attorney Michael Allen says this is the first time the 4th Judicial District will have a specialized prosecutor focusing solely on domestic violence cases. He acknowledges the best person for the role has skills beyond the courtroom.
You've got to have empathy to do these types of cases. These are tough cases to deal with. People are going through a lot of emotional change at the same time that they're dealing with a domestic violence criminal case.
According to the data from the District Attorney's Office, in the last 5 years, the number of domestic violence cases in El Paso County remained above 250 per month, with a visible increase during the summertime. But as highlighted by the purple boxes, there's no clear sign of any surge in cases around the holidays.
But that doesn't mean domestic violence isn't happening, and it's happening way too often.
According to the Colorado Domestic Violence Fatality Review Board's 2023 annual report, 94 Coloradans were killed as a result of domestic violence. That's an 8-year high. Of those, 39 were the intended targets of the violence, 33 the abusers, and a startling quarter of the deaths are who the board defines as collateral victims. The review board's data show 23% of those killed were collateral victims, including neighbors, law enforcement, and family who tried to intervene. But 6 were children, an 8-month-old, 2 5-year-olds, a 6, 8, and 16-year-old. All lost their lives as a result of domestic violence. But while the district attorney's data may not reflect a spike in cases during the holidays, experts say that's because victims have limited access to report their abuse this time of year.
You can't turn to your friends or family in the holidays, and your kids, animals, whatever may be with you because they're not going to school or whatever the case may be. So the teachers aren't seeing it. Nobody else is seeing it but you, and you don't know how to say anything.
Misty Metters works with Break the Silence, run out of Mount Carmel Veteran Service Center in the Springs. In her office are the faces of who she calls fallen angels, women who did not survive their abuse. A victim of domestic violence herself, Metters works to connect survivors with local resources, which she says they need this time of year.
They get you in a solitary situation. So even for the holidays, no, you can't go to your parents, no, you can't go to your friends, or they've eliminated the friends and the family altogether because of their controlling nature. So a lot of people are stuck in that situation and they don't really feel like they know where to go.
According to the nonprofit Haven, the holidays can be an especially difficult time for those in unsafe relationships, as experiences that can cause stress increase, like spending time with family, traveling, financial strain, and alcohol use. In its 2023 report, the Colorado Domestic Violence Fatality Review Board found a concerning trend in its case studies. Few people in the victims' lives knew they felt unsafe. Quote, family members were most likely to know of the abuse, but the awareness stood at 38% of the DVF victims' parents and 25% of siblings. Law enforcement was aware of only 25% of the cases, and there was no indication that any DV shelters knew of the DV.
Say something to your boss. Say something to the police. Document it, because if you document it and then they can document it, you have that track, you have that trail, you have something that legal can go off of.
Metters knows it can be tough to approach someone who you suspect may be struggling, but she says expressing your concern can help them see you as a lifeline later on. Metters suggests trying a hypothetical scenario in a conversation.
I had a friend, she wasn't safe, but I let her know that I'm a safe place to come. And that way you're not saying it to them, but you're saying it to them.
With the faces of these fallen angels looking on, Metters says she's pleased the DA is hiring a special prosecutor to help domestic violence victims before they lose their fight.
Very much, very much. Because if we have an advocate behind us that is trained, that knows, that's going to hear us, that can make all the difference in the world.
If you know someone who may feel unsafe or you think you may need to talk to someone about your relationship, reach out to Break the Silence or the National Domestic Violence Hotline to talk, text, or chat for free confidentially. If you think you could be in a life-threatening situation, don't hesitate to call 911. In studio, Megan Cloherty, News 5.